So back around when I was 12, basically in grade 7, I found a YouTuber that I really liked. His channel, I don't think he posts much anymore or even exists anymore. I haven't checked up on him in a while, but his YouTube channel was Juice Man, and it's spelled with the juices spelled with Jewce. And I really liked his content because he made pretty funny videos on ranking like JoJo stuff. And I just really liked who he was as a person, you know, his voice, the videos mainly in general, because they were really funny in idea, but I really liked them. And when you find a YouTuber that you really like at an age like that, you want to go forward and learn more about them. You want to be part of their community. And so I went forward and joined his Discord. I saw it and I wanted to join. It was just really out of pure curiosity, but also I wanted to know more about the YouTuber that I really liked at the time. So upon joining the Discord, I found one channel in particular that really made me wonder and, you know, made my interest grow. It was the NSFW channel. And at this time, I had no idea what NSFW meant whatsoever. And so, being interested and kind of curious about what it is, I clicked on it saying that yes, I was over 18 and I went into the channel. And you can probably guess what's inside there. There was porn, hentai, and that was my very first exposure to porn and such. It is cold out here. I'm putting on my gloves. Ugh. But moving forward, after seeing all that, as a guy that's in puberty already, or just beginning puberty, you can probably guess that I wanted to see more of this. And so, in that channel, I scrolled through more and more and more and more and more, wanting to see more of it. Because my brain just started pumping out chemicals like crazy, talking about this is good stuff. And in the middle of that process, I did not know what was happening, but my little friend down there was getting pretty excited. And I didn't know what to do with my hands at this time, but I knew I had to do something about my little friend down there. It's a little hard to say this, but I was just rubbing it against the wall. And you can probably guess what happens after. I had no idea what happened, but I knew that it just felt great. It was the best thing I've ever felt in my life. The very first time it happened. I thought I had peed my pants, but it was a very different consistency and there wasn't a lot. So, after feeling it for the first time, I wanted to feel it again. I did it more and more and more. And sooner or later, I discovered that, you know, I could use my hands instead. And I think that really grew my addiction. And in grade 7 was the time where my addiction grew the most. I started feeling that I need to do it more and more and more. The urge just got stronger day by day by day. Because the more I did it, the more I felt that I had to do it again to reach like the same high when I initially did it. And so, in grade 8, moving forward, that was when my addiction was the worst it's ever been. I was doing it maybe 2, 3, 4 times maybe, minimum a day. Maybe once before school, once after school, once before bed, maybe 2 times before bed. And it was getting really bad. I was finding, it's really disgusting to say this, but I was finding like really freaky genres to look at. And I was discovering like different forms, like even crazier stuff on things like Rule 34, right? I really don't want to talk about those things, but it's something you have to face, and you know, I might as well face it now. But on one day in particular during winter break, I remember it well, because I locked myself in the bathroom for around like 2-3 hours, lying to my grandma and mom about how I just had like a really big stomach problem, when in reality I was in there just jerking it. I think I did it 8 times that day. 8. It's really sad to look at my younger self and how early I found this, you know. I wonder how things would have turned out if I didn't find it, but I'll go more into how I don't really regret me finding it in the first place though. But after grade 8, my addiction started toning down quite a bit. And it was mainly because I was transitioning into high school, my grades mattered a little more, and my mom wanted me to study more. So naturally I listened to my mom, and I put more time in the studies. However, the main reason I think I wasn't doing it as much was because there were a bunch of games that I wanted to play, and those took up a large majority of my time. As well as I was getting into anime a lot more during this, so I found myself doing it less because I had other priorities or things that I really wanted to do. In grade 9, this was probably the worst version of myself, I would say. In grade 9, I was not doing anything whatsoever. I was basically what you could call a degenerate. I was sitting back at home on my computer playing games all day. I was watching anime, then beating it. That was basically my daily schedule. I would wake up, go to school, come back home, study a little bit, go to any extracurriculars I would have, then play games for like 3-4 hours, then watch anime for another 1 or 2, then jerk it, then go to sleep. In the summer of grade 9, everything really changed for me. My life 180'd. At 3 or 4 a.m., I was watching YouTube, and I came across one video in particular, or like a short, that was captioned 5 generational men that changed everything, or like something along the lines of that. I don't remember what the actual title was, but one of the guys in that video was Hamza. And Hamza was someone I found immediate interest in. I could just tell from his smile, the way he looked, that he knew a thing or two. He had like an aura to him, honestly. So, having that interest, I immediately went to search him up. I wanted to look at a couple of his videos. And the very first video that popped up was a video about how young men can better themselves. And this immediately clicked with me. I saw that this was my chance to better myself. I saw some guys in my school doing it, but I just couldn't find a proper reason. But now I had a real reason to start and a real reason to go forward. And so I dedicated myself to reading and going to the gym, bettering myself mentally and physically. And I did. Throughout the summer, I got into the habit of reading, I got into the habit of working out, and I was really into the red pill, Andrew Tate stuff at that time. And it was just everything about my life. That was everything. And grade 10 was really just the time for me to continue building myself and grow my physique, as well as my mentality and my, overall knowledge. But the summer of grade 10 was when I threw away my porn addiction finally. This summer I went off to a camp at a private school where it was called a leadership camp, but it's really just to prepare me to be a camp counselor. That was really the purpose of it. And so I went there and I would live there. And I'm not the type of person to sit down and yank it in another person's property or place. So I control myself, I lay off it, and I realized that this isn't normal. During the entirety of grade 10, I normalized this, and I relapsed every 1 or 2 days. I felt that it was normal to fall into this urge because I saw everyone else doing it. It was normal to everyone else, so I made it normal to myself. When I finally realized that other people's normals aren't my normals, that's when I really came to realization and cut it out completely. And after spending a month there and controlling myself because I was in another person's place, I obviously wouldn't do it in front of a bunch of other guys, right? After laying off it for a whole month, I finally quit. I quit for good. Now, coming into grade 11, the very beginning of grade 11, I would say this was when my life was the greatest it ever was. Because my physique was at its best, it was at its peak. I was the leanest I ever was. My YouTube channel, I first started, I had a purpose. I was waking up every single day early, doing the things, meditating, really staying consistent on self-improvement. And I just felt good about myself. I had so much confidence and I was just happy with how everything was going. But the one thing that really changed it and really made me feel good was attention from girls. That was the key deciding factor, attention from girls. And not just from any girls. I had a couple that I knew, but one girl approached me quite often, and she was a girl that I liked too. And that was what really made me feel good about myself. It was what I what my confidence relied on. When I was in my school weight room, she would come up to me and touch my chest. But the effects of the porn addiction obviously don't go away that quickly. And every time she would come up to approach me, try and do something, I would either sit there not knowing what to do, or if she comes up to touch me, just imagine this, right? Imagine you walk up to me and you touch me on the chest, and I just look at you dead in the eye. Yeah, that's basically what I did to her, and I didn't make a single move. But she still approached me a couple more times after that, but eventually she stopped. And I could go more into this story, but I'm not. If you want to hear more about this, I have a video. I'm going to put it up here somewhere, like the little gray eye thing. You know what I'm talking about. It's going to be there, so if you want to hear more about it, look to there. But because I didn't make a move, because of my porn addiction, because I was pedestalizing women and had no confidence to approach them and make a move whatsoever, she got a boyfriend, and I really regretted that. I really regretted my choice of not doing anything. And in the summer of grade 11, when I realized she had a boyfriend, my life was at the worst because my YouTube channel wasn't doing entirely too well. I wasn't getting that much stronger in the gym, and most importantly, I lost a girl that I truly think I loved. You know how there's memes of guys imagining a whole future with girls without even having talked to them or dated them? Yeah, that was basically what I did. I could imagine a whole future with her. You know, kids, wife, house. I don't want to brush back on those memories. I've gone past that at this point. But my life was this low. I was truly depressed. I don't say this often, but I was depressed. And at night, sometimes I was contemplating suicide. I was thinking who cares if I die? Who cares if I end it all? What does it matter if I don't exist in this world anymore? But this was when I discovered God. I discovered Christianity. I found him and he saved me. God saved me. God saved me from my own pain and suffering. And that's when I truly realized that God was real. When I realized God was there for me. And I have to thank God for everything that's happened up to this point. I have to thank God for where I am right now. Because if it wasn't for God, I don't think I would have made any of the videos in the past 3-4 months. And I wouldn't have been able to live such a peaceful, happy life that I am living now. I have to thank God for all these things. And God has helped me stay on track on focusing on what really matters. Not views, not all of this, but spreading the gospel and just showing my love to God, spreading the love of God. And some of you watching this video might think that what I've said so far in this entire video is kind of cringe or weird. But for those that know and have experienced something like this, either it be with the porn thing or with being at the lowest point and finding God, you know what I'm talking about, and you understand deeply to the soul what I'm speaking about. And those are who I'm making this video for. It's to those guys out there. And this is honestly just a little warning to anyone who's hasn't experienced anything like this. You have to understand how dangerous porn truly is. Porn can ruin entire relationships, or they can completely ruin your chances of a relationship, period. I think it really ruined my relationship with my mom at one point too. But even if you find porn and you get yourself addicted to it, it's for a reason. And I'd say it's because God wants to know you. God always warns you of these things, but we don't always listen. And that's why when we go through this, we learn the hard way that God is there for us always, even at our lowest points. That's when God teaches us the hard way that He's here, He's always going to be here, and He loves us unconditionally and infinitely. But yeah, that's about it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't want to be out here for much longer. It is cold. You could probably hear the wind through the mic. But yeah, I'm trying not to shiver here. But yeah, I really do appreciate you sticking to the end here and watching all the way. But just stay consistent, stay disciplined, and keep on building that relationship with God. All right? Well, that's about it for me. Much love to you, and I'll see you the next time. All right? And you're still getting a kiss. Mwah.